We all love boxing, but what boxing fans love more is a good trash talker. And that's exactly what Edgar Berlanga did when he called out Canelo Alvarez. However, this call-out was not a casual one. He threw some serious punches with his words. Let's catch you up. Now, who is this Berlanga? Well, he's basically a young knockout artist from Brooklyn. Born and raised in New York, he comes with Puerto Rican roots and is making a name for himself in the super middleweight division. Currently, he is still undefeated, but that's not the best part. He has fought 22 opponents, securing all the wins, and to make things even more shocking, 17 of those wins came by first-round knockouts. We don't know about you, but we say that's some serious power, which is probably why they call him the Chosen One. So, just like every boxer around Canelo, Berlanga decided to take some heat to him too. For as long as we've known Canelo, he has always been that Mexican superstar, considered one of the best boxers out there, no matter what weight class you look at. He's won titles in multiple weight divisions and beaten some of the biggest names in the game. But Berlanga's call-out wasn't your average challenge. He went straight for Canelo's reputation. In an interview that left everyone with something to say, Berlanga basically accused Canelo of dodging the toughest fighters to keep his perfect record. He continued to say that Canelo's team picks fights where he's guaranteed a win against guys who are either past their prime or just not as good as him. According to Berlanga, this strategy lets Canelo stay on top without really proving he's the absolute best. Canelo's a great fighter for sure, but let's get real. He's been picking on guys who can't beat him. He's scared of the real challenges in the division. I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm calling him out. Let's see if he's got the guts to step in the ring with me. Well, he doesn't stop here. We do know Canelo has his eyes on the money in recent days, but even this is not stopping Edgar from chasing the fight with him. In fact, he believes he offers more in a fight against Canelo Alvarez than any other fighter has before. Though Canelo hasn't officially confirmed Berlanga as his next opponent, it's widely expected that Berlanga will be Canelo's tune-up fight in September. This fight is seen as a preparatory step for Canelo before he faces Terence Crawford in the first half of 2025. For Canelo, fighting Berlanga is a chance to take a breather from big matches and secure a relatively easy win. Well, if you decide to call it that. Berlanga, who is now 27, is eager for this opportunity, seeing it as a major step in his career. Despite being matched mostly against lower-tier fighters throughout his career, Berlanga remains solid in his belief that he can take down the Mexican superstar. In a recent interview on Cigar Talk, Berlanga expressed his enthusiasm and confidence, saying, "He knows I'm about to make that bag, and we're going to beat him." For Berlanga, this fight is not just about the money, although he does acknowledge the financial gain, but also about proving himself on a much bigger stage. Fans, however, are hoping for more than just an unbalanced match. They want to see a fight worth their time and money. Berlanga's track record includes fights against Romer Alexis Angulo, Marcelo Conceres, Steve Rolls, Jason Quigley, and Demon Nicholson. While he hasn't always shined in these fights, he remains quite optimistic. He considers Padraig McCrory his toughest opponent, though many find it hard to take McCrory seriously given his unimpressive resume and performance. To add to his confidence, Berlanga is motivated by more than just the competition. He sees this fight as part of a legacy, a continuation of the storied Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry in boxing, saying, "It's legacy for me, it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Everybody keeps talking about that fight. I feel I got to get bugged out." Now, a fighter either has that special quality or they don't. You can't suddenly become crazy and fearless in the ring if you haven't been that way throughout your entire career. And it's no doubt that Edgar trying to fight recklessly against Canelo Alvarez isn't a smart move for him. His defense is already shaky, and his chin isn't exactly made of iron. Despite this, Berlanga is convinced he brings something unique to the table, saying, "I know he fought big punchers and everybody, but I feel with me, it's something different. I'm going to bring something different to the table." This fight represents a step down for Canelo compared to his last bout against Jaime Munguia. Munguia is a much better fighter than Berlanga, but for Canelo, it's all about tuning up and staying sharp for his upcoming big match against Terence Crawford. Many believe it would have been better if Berlanga had fought someone like Munguia or David Morrell first to prove his worthiness for a fight against Canelo instead of facing Padraig McCrory. Berlanga, however, is still a bit delusional or confident, depending on how you see it like we said. He insists he rises to the occasion when faced with tough competition. I elevate with the competition. My IQ goes through the roof. In my last fight, I knew someone was coming to fight, he said about his win over the relatively unknown 36-year-old Irish fighter Padraig McCrory last February. I knew he had knockout power of 50% KO rate. I knew McCrory was my toughest fighter on my resume. So, I was already on point. I knew what kind of knockout I needed to secure my spot to get in the ring with Canelo, and I did that, Berlanga added. Despite these bold claims, Berlanga has yet to truly elevate his game against top-tier competition. His comments about improving his performance and intelligence in the ring against better opponents remain untested. If he had faced Morrell, then perhaps we could judge whether he steps up his game or not. Berlanga's victory over McCrory made him the mandatory challenger for the then WBA regular 168 LEB champion David Morrell. However, Berlanga chose to wait for Canelo to offer him a title shot, avoiding the dangerous Cuban talent Morrell, who would have likely been a nightmare opponent for him. Berlanga is not just aiming to fight, he's aiming to create a show, saying, "This is going to be a different type of magnitude this fight. I got the Puerto Ricans. I got the Russians. I got the Chinese. I got the whites. I got everybody. I'm not just with the Latin community. Obviously, it's boxing, so they're going to put Puerto Rico versus Mexico." Berlanga envisions this fight as a global event, bringing together fans from all corners of the world. And hopefully, Edgar Berlanga will attract a massive crowd to his potential fight against Canelo Alvarez if it gets confirmed. Berlanga is confident that he can draw in the fans, even though he hasn't yet faced top-tier competition, boasting his appeal saying, "I'm a big draw. I know a lot of people love knockouts, and that's what I give." His string of knockouts has indeed garnered attention, but the question remains whether this will translate into a packed arena and high pay-per-view numbers for a fight against a boxing icon like Canelo. Canelo Alvarez is undoubtedly one of the biggest names in boxing, and any fight involving him is a major event. So, is Canelo going to fight Berlanga? Well, the answer depends on several factors. As Berlanga himself pointed out, if the money is right, then Canelo should consider it. The financial point of it is crucial in boxing, and a lucrative offer could make this fight a reality. However, what we are not entirely sure of is when the fight will happen. Well, if it does. Canelo has some tough decisions to make regarding his next opponent. He has options like David Benavidez and Terence Crawford on the table, both of whom present quite some heavy challenges. As we've seen recently, Canelo must weigh the risks and rewards of each potential matchup. Benavidez is a powerful and aggressive fighter who could give Canelo a hard time, while Crawford is a highly skilled and versatile boxer, making both fights quite compelling for different reasons. Meanwhile, Berlanga is out here, loudly calling out Canelo's name with his impressive record of 17 first-round knockouts. Let's be honest, this achievement alone makes him an intriguing opponent for Canelo, adding a layer of excitement and unpredictability to a potential fight. And let's not forget that fans love the thrill of a knockout artist, and Berlanga has proven he can deliver those explosive moments in the ring. The uncertainty lies in when this fight will happen, if it happens at all. Canelo's schedule and strategic decisions will ultimately determine the timeline. If he chooses to face Benavidez first or moves forward with a bout against Crawford, Berlanga might have to wait for his chance. However, the talk that Berlanga is already creating in the sport with his confident declarations and knockout record keeps him in the conversation, making it hard for Canelo to ignore. But do you think we'll get to see this fight happen sometime in the future? Share your thoughts below, and if anything comes up, we'll be here to update you. So make sure you're subscribed to not miss anything. See you in the next one.